Okay, guys. Today I am gonna do election video for you guys. So I ain't gonna hear that. This is what you hear in my area. Big wigs passing by. Let me see. Let's do what people ate to survive in the Victorian era.
Hurry to Cool's biggest nerds event for savings you don't want to miss. Save up to 80%. Named after Queen Victoria, who reigned in the United Kingdom from 1837 until she passed in 1901, the Victorian era was a period filled with shifting trends, attitudes, and innovations. Food itself was part of these changes, and the Victorians displayed resourcefulness and creativity in the dishes they prepared. Victorian Britons were a diverse bunch, with eclectic tastes and habits, and the food they consumed often reflected their disparate sensibilities. Today, we're going to take a look at what people ate to survive in Victorian England. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below what other culinary history you would like to hear about. Okay, for our entree today, we recommend this Victorian-style video. I think it's just delicious. Among other things, Victorians were enthusiastic
Ooh, look at the cat. Oh,
and they loved to take with and create their own varieties of fruits and vegetables. One of the most successful fruits to emerge in the late Victorian period was the Royal Sovereign strawberry. Developed by Thomas Laxton in 1892, it was luscious and tasty. Botanists of the 19th century
Jezebel!
the quest to develop a strawberry that was as large as the American variety, but as sweet as the European variety. And Laxton's creation scored on both counts. His Royal Sovereign strawberry was such a hit that Country Life Illustrated declared in 1899 that it was one of the finest strawberries ever raised. McDonald's gave us the Egg McMuffin breakfast combo. IHOP gave us the Hootie Tootie Fresh and Fruity breakfast plate. And Victorian England gave us the full English breakfast. Typically
Ooh.
encompassing a spread of fried eggs, bacon, baked beans, grilled tomatoes, and mushrooms. The full English breakfast remains to this day.
Oh, hell, I could go to London,
However, prior to
England.
the Victorian era, only the wealthy could afford to eat eggs and meat for breakfast. That slowly changed throughout the 19th century as the standard of living increased for the vast majority of the population. By the end of the era, even working class Victorians had the time and money to enjoy a more elaborate breakfast.
They eat big beans? Us, we eat hash browns, eggs, toast, you name it.
Okay, it's actually not that hard to believe. In fact, by 1865, British brewers made 25 million barrels of beer annually. Although it was widely consumed, Victorian beer had a relatively low alcohol content, usually less than 3%. You might be wondering why beer was so popular if it did not get you drunk. Well, the truth is that the drinking water of the era, especially in crowded cities like London, could easily become contaminated with sewage. Consuming beer was therefore a safer and significantly less disgusting option for Victorians looking to quench their thirst. Since the climate in the UK made growing sugar pretty much impossible, it had to be imported. No one knows exactly when the importation of sugar began, but some believe it might have been as early as 1264 in the court of Henry III. It wouldn't be until the 14th century that sugar came into general use. But even then, it was incredibly expensive, commanding prices that in today's money would be about 50 English pounds, or 70 American dollars per pound. As you might expect, it remained a luxury for the ultra-rich. However, thanks in part to the end of taxes on imported sugar in 1874, candy quickly became popular and could be found virtually everywhere in the Victorian world. One of the most popular candies was the bullseye. Named after the eyes of a bull, the sweet treat wasn't as unappetizing as its namesake. The red and white striped, sugary candies were actually mint flavored.
Hmm.
The 19th century saw the birth of what is arguably the most popular breakfast item of all time, cereal. American entrepreneurs
I'm
like
not a
Sylvester
cereal
Graham
fan.
developed breakfast
Big
cereals to
fan.
provide health to the masses.
Sadly, I'm
Some
not
took it even further.
big
John
breakfast
Kellogg, for
fan
example,
girl.
developed cornflakes as a planned food to hurt people's sexual impulses, because apparently he thought that was something people wanted. Processed breakfast cereal gained traction in mid-century America and continued to gain popularity over time. Anyone who's been to a grocery store recently can testify to that, as virtually every supermarket in existence today has an entire aisle devoted to products like Frosted Flakes, Cheerios, honeycombs, and
See,
dozens
I like
and dozens
Cheerios
of others. Britons, on the other hand,
because
really take this
Cheerios
stuff
are
the way
my
Americans
favorite.
did. Instead, British Victorians generally preferred to eat gruel, oats, and porridge. Once you've had Captain Crunch, you'll never go back. They wouldn't really start to enjoy prepared cereal until the beginning of the 20th century.
Huh.
Working and middle-class Victorians supplemented their diet with cheap vegetables. Cabbage, in particular, was affordable and a good source of nutrients.
I'm not a
Famous
cabbage
housekeeping
fan.
expert Isabella Beaton even recommended fried cabbage as a good option for
Sorry, you'll never see the girl eat cabbage.
but there were a lot more options in this department than just cabbage. Onions were also a widely used staple, given their
Oh,
year-round
onions because
availability
I
in
don't like
frequent
onions.
climates. Leeks, watercress, artichokes, carrots, turnips, broccoli, and peas were similarly common, although some of these were more subject to seasonal availability concern. What will you do with your newfound freedom? That shopping made fast and easy only in the Amazon app. Happy New Year, Fox Rewards members. You scored a free $5 bonus reward. That's $5 to... By the middle of the era, things were
Sorry,
looking
guys.
up, monetarily speaking, and most Victorians were consuming some kind of meat at least once during the week. Not every cut or type of meat was the same, though. Wealthier Victorians, as you might expect, enjoyed the best pieces of succulent meats, while their poorer counterparts had to make do with the cheaper cuts. Butchers sold most parts of the animal, making everything from the head to the hoof available for purchase. A budget-conscious Victorian could buy a sheep's head for 3 pennies, which would be just about 2.5 pounds today.
Mm.
Civic rituals and festivals punctuated life in the Victorian era, and food always played a role in such festivities. No one made celebratory food better than the community of Deadmead Dale in West Yorkshire. To mark national occasions, bakers in the town were known to create giant meat and potato pies. Some of the events that warranted a giant pie were Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo in 1815, the repeal of corn laws in 1846, and the 50th anniversary of Queen Victoria's reign in 1887. In the year 2000, the University of Huddersfield School of Engineering baked the Millennium Pie, which, according to reports, measured 40 feet by 8 feet, held 2 tons of potatoes, a ton of onions, 5 tons of beef, and nearly 200 pints of John Smith's bitter. Victorians were keen gardeners, and their enthusiasm meant that they often sampled the fruits of their labors. Medlar, an aggressively hard fruit, wouldn't be an obvious choice for a meal, but Victorians gave it a go by letting it rot slightly. This softened the fruit, thereby making it edible. Softened medlars could be eaten as is, but many Victorians opted to turn it into medlar cheese or jelly. Medlars, it's worth noting, weren't unique to the
I've never
Victorians.
seen
They
that
dated
like
way
that
back
before.
before Victoria's era, and even merited mentions in the works of Chaucer, Dekker, and Middleton. No less than 4 mentions of medlars can be found in the plays of William Shakespeare, including in Timon of Athens, As You Like It, Measure for Measure, and even Romeo and Juliet. While it may sound strange to some in the modern era, bone marrow was a relatively popular treat in the Victorian era. Chefs and diners would use a tool called a marrow scoop to remove the yellow marrow from animal bones. And it was much sought after, since it was a fatty, rich food that gave Victorians savory calories. In fact, Queen Victoria herself was reputed to have eaten marrow every day. Her one-time chef, Charles Francatelli, created marrow toast for her. His relatively simple recipe involves serving bone marrow.
I'm sorry, we don't eat that.
On toast. one of the most beloved dishes of the 18th and early 19th
Yeah.
centuries on both sides of the Atlantic. But the essential ingredient, turtle meat, was relatively hard to come by and extremely expensive.
Oh, thank you.
Victorian cooks thus made up their own version of the popular soup. It was just like the expensive kind, only it lacked one crucial thing: the turtle. Something else needed to be substituted for the eponymous ingredient, hence the mock in mock turtle soup. So what did they use? Well, among other things, mock turtle soup could be made with other types of meat, like calf's head, brains, or organ meats. Oysters were part of the Victorian diet, but many working class folks
Yeah, I tried
didn't have
oysters,
access
guys.
to the
Don't
fresh batches of
we
them.
do please don't try
So,
like
as authorities might seem used to
disgusting.
modern standards, they often had to weigh the risk of eating spoiled seafood. That being said, a much safer method of enjoying less than fresh
My
seafood
great grandma
was by
always
eating
eat that
it
stuff.
from
I don't.
oysters in good condition. Street vendors even sold pickled oysters for the bargain price of a penny. Not a bad deal considering the only alternative for most folks was to eat rotten ones. When it came to food, Victorians were nothing if not efficient, and they generally used most parts of an animal once it was butchered. This frugality meant that items like calf's head were relatively popular and affordable cut of meat among all classes. And why wouldn't it be?
Oh,
Calf's head
cow.
was a surprisingly versatile ingredient and could be prepared in a number of ways. Some recipes called for boiling the head, while others explained how to roast it. That being said, preparing a calf's head
Mm.
could be labor intensive and required the cook to remove the bones and
I see
skin.
it out.
The brains and tongue,
I
on
will
the other hand,
leave.
seldom went to waste. Victorians loved gelatins and jellies, even savory ones. To make calf's foot jelly, cooks would have to boil actual calf's hooves in water. The boiled water would then be cooled to form a rich gelatin. Incidentally, this is where it's worth noting that calf's foot jelly is an ancestor of today's gelatin, which is a chief ingredient in many foods, beverages, medications, and other products. Some examples include foods like gelatin desserts, puddings, gummy bears, candy corns, marshmallows, yogurts, cream cheeses, and margarine, as well as a host of other widely consumed products. It also turns up in non-food items like cosmetics, lighting equipment, blue match heads, and photographic films, just to name a few. That's right, in case you didn't already know, gelatin, which is in all those foods and products, is mostly made from animal parts. Anyway, Victorians believed that cat's foot jelly was a nourishing food for the infirm, and recipes for it often appeared in cookbooks for invalids. Modern science, for the record, verifies that gelatin may play some role in joint and brain function, as well as provide benefits to the skin and hair. But the jury is still out on exactly how useful it is in those departments. So what do you think? Which of these Victorian foods sounds the most?
None. Alright, guys. I'll see you in my last video, so I'll see you then.